I know most people probably at work or unavailable right now, so I ain't really worried too much about anybody coming in. Y'all can watch the replays or read it yourself. Um, might post it also. Just trying to get through this thing, get this new cycle started. So yeah, we left off after chapter 15. We're at 16 now. It was after Saul's daughter, Michal, it was recanting that story where she saw David dancing outside her window and she became contemptuous of him. Chapter 16, First Chronicles. They brought the ark of Elohim and set it up inside the tent that Dawid had pitched for it. And Dawid offered burnt offerings and peace offerings before Elohim. When David had finished offering up the burnt offering and the peace offering, he blessed the people with the name of Yahweh. He distributed to all the people of Yasharal, to man and woman alike, a loaf of bread, a portion of beef, and a container of wine for each person. He stationed some of the Levites before the ark of Yahweh as ministers, and to chant remembrances, thanksgivings, and praises to Yahweh Elohim of Yasharal. Asaph the chief, his second in command, Zechariah, Jael, Shemiramoth, Jehiel, Mattathiah. Hold up, store's tripping. Mattathiah, Eliab, Benaiah, Obed-Edom, and Jael with instruments of lyres and harps, with Asaph sounding the cymbals, and Benaiah and Jahaziel, the Kohanim always being with the trumpets before the ark of the covenant of Elohim. Then on that day, I feel like something biting my back. Hold up. Then on that day, Dawid placed the responsibility for thanksgiving to Yahweh into the hands of Asaph and his kinsmen. Give thanks to Yahweh, declare his name, make his acts known among the nations. Sing to him, make music to him, speak of all his wonders. Glory in his holy name. May the heart of those who seek Yahweh be glad. Search out Yahweh and his might. Seek his presence always. Remember his wonders that he wrought, his marvels and the judgments of his mouth. O seed of Yasharal, his servant. O children of Jacob, his chosen ones. He is Yahweh our Elohim. Over all the earth are his ordinances. Give me one quick second, real quick. Remember his covenant forever. the word he commanded for 1,000 generations, that he covenanted with Abraham and his oath to Isaac. Then he established it for Jacob as a statute, for Yasharal as an everlasting covenant, saying, to you I shall give the land of Canaan, the lot of your heritage, when you were but few in number, hardly dwelling there, and they wandered from nation to nation and from one kingdom to another people. He allowed no man to rob them, and he rebuked kings for their sake. Dare not touch my anointed ones, and to my prophets do no harm. Sing to Yahweh, everyone on earth. Announce his salvation daily. Relate his glory among the nations and his wonders among all the peoples. That Yahweh is great and exceedingly lauded. Awesome is he above all heavenly powers. For all the gods of the nations are nothing, but Yahweh made the heavens. Glory and majesty are before him. Might and joy are in his place. Render unto Yahweh, families of peoples. Render unto Yahweh honor and might. Render unto Yahweh honor worthy of his name. Take an offering and come before him. Prostrate yourselves before Yahweh in his intensely holy place. Tremble before him, everyone on earth. Let the world be fixed so that it cannot falter. The heavens will be glad and the earth will rejoice. Let them declare among the peoples, Yahweh reigns. The sea and its fullness will roar. The field and everything in it will exult. Then all the trees of the forest will sing with joy before Yahweh, for he will have come to judge the earth. He, Nanu JC, Jeebus Christian Lake. Give thanks to Yahweh, for he is good, for his kindness endures forever. Say, save us, O Elohim of our salvation. Gather us and deliver us from the nations, to give thanks to your holy name, to glory in your praise. Blessed is Yahweh, Elohim of Yasharal, from this world to the world to come. And the entire nation said, Amen, in praise to Yahweh. Dawid left Asaph and his kinsmen there before the ark of the covenant of Yahweh, to minister before the ark permanently, each day according to what was appropriate on that day, along with Obed-Edom and 68 of their kinsmen, Obed-Edom, son of Jeduthun, and Hosah to be gatekeepers. Zadok the Kohen and his brethren the Kohanim served before the tabernacle of Yahweh, at the high place that was in Gibeon, to bring up burnt offerings to Yahweh upon the altar of burnt offerings continuously, morning and evening, according to all that is written in the Torah of Yahweh, which he had commanded Yeshua. With them were Heman and Jeduthun, and the rest of the chosen ones who were specified by name, to give thanks to Yahweh, for his mercy is forever. With them, Heman and Jeduthun were trumpets and cymbals for those who sounded them, and the musical instruments of Elohim. Jeduthun's sons were in charge of the gate. All the people then went back to their homes, and David turned to bless his own household. (17) It happened after Dawid settled into his home that Dawid said to Nathan the prophet, Behold, I am living in a house of cedar, while the ark of the covenant of Yahweh dwells under curtains. Nathan said to Dawid, Do whatever is in your heart, for Elohim is with you. It happened that night that the word of Elohim came to Nathan, saying, Go and say to my servant Dawid, Thus say Yahweh, it is not you who will build a house for me to dwell in. For I have not dwelt in a house from the day I brought up Yasharol to this day. I have moved from tent to tent and from tabernacle to tabernacle. Wherever I moved about among all Yasharol, did I say a word to one of the judges of Yasharol, whom I have appointed to shepherd my people Israel, Yasharol, saying, Why have you not built me a house of cedar wood? And now thus shall you say to my servant Dawid, So says Yahweh, Master of Legions, I have taken you from the sheepfold, from following the flocks, to become ruler over my people, over Yasharol. I was with you wherever you went. I cut down all your enemies before you, and I gave you renown, like the renown of the great men of the land. I shall yet secure a place for my people, for Yasharal. I shall plant it there, and it shall dwell in this place, so that it shall be disturbed no more. Iniquitous people will no longer beleaguer it, as in early times. And also from the day that I appointed judges over my people Yasharal, and I will subdue all your enemies. And I declare to you that Yahweh will establish a dynasty for you, when your days are complete to go to your forefathers. I will raise up after you offspring, your offspring, who will be from among your sons, and I shall make his kingdom firm. He shall build a temple for me, and I shall make his throne firm forever. I shall be a father unto him, and he shall be a son unto me, and I shall never remove my kindness from him, as I removed from the one who preceded you. I will establish him as my dynasty, as my kingdom, and his throne will be established forever. In accordance with all these words and this entire vision, so did Nathan speak to Dawid. King Dawid then came and settled before Yahweh, and said, Who am I, O Yahweh Elohim, and who is my household, that you should have brought me this far? And yet this was insufficient in your eyes, O Elohim. So you have spoken also of your servant's household in a distant future. And you have considered me as befits a man of exalted stature, O Yahweh. All this greatness, to make known all these great things. Yahweh, there is none like you, and there is no God besides you, like all that we have heard with our ears. And who is like your people, Yasharal, a unique nation on earth, whom Elohim went forth to redeem unto himself for a people, achieving for yourself renown for great and marvelous wonders, driving out nations from before your people, whom you had redeemed from Egypt. You have made your people, Yasharal, a people unto yourself forever, and you, Yahweh, have been an Elohim for them. And now, Yahweh, may the matter that you have spoken concerning your servant and his house be fulfilled, and may you do as you have spoken. And your name will thereby be recognized as true and glorified forever. When people say, Yahweh, Master Allegiance, Elohim of Yasharal, is Elohim of Yasharal, and the house of your servant Dawid is established before you. For you, my Elohim, have revealed to the ear of your servant, saying that you would create a dynasty for him. Therefore your servant has felt it proper to pray unto you. And now, Yahweh, you are Elohim, and you have spoken of this benevolence to your servant. And now you have consented to bless the house of your servant, that it may remain forever before you. For you, O Yahweh, have blessed. May it be blessed forever. Chapter 18. Shalom. Trying to get through this thing. Trying to get done by tomorrow night latest. It happened after this that Dawid struck the Philistines and subdued them. Dawid took Gath and its suburbs from the hands of the Philistines. He struck Moab. The Moabites became servants, bearers of tribute to Dawid. Dawid smote Hadadezer, king of Zobah, and Hamath, as he was on the way to assert his control over the Euphrates River. Dawid captured from him 1,000 chariots, 7,000 horsemen, and 20,000 foot soldiers. Dawid hamstrung all the chariot horses, leaving over enough for 100 chariots. Aram of Damascus came to assist Hadadezer, king of Zobah, and Dawid smote 22,000 men of Aram. Savage. Dawid set up authorities in Aram of Damascus, and Aram became servants unto Dawid, bearers of tribute. Yahweh caused salvation for Dawid wherever he went. Dawid took the golden shields of Hadadezer's servants and brought them to Jerusalem. And from Tibhath and Kum, cities of Hadadezer, Dawid took a great deal of copper. From it, Solomon made the copper sea, and the pillars and the copper vessels of the temple. Two with Tau, I don't know how to pronounce that shit. Tau, I guess, king of Hamath, heard that Dawid had smitten the entire army of Hadadezer, king of Zobah. So Tau sent his son Hadaram to King Dawid to greet him and to wish him well for having fought and defeated Hadadezer. For Hadadezer was a battle foe of Tau, and he brought all kinds of silver and gold and copper articles. King Dawid consecrated these articles also to Yahweh, along with the silver and gold that he had taken from all the nations, from Edom and Moab, from the children of Ammon, and the Philistines and Amalek. Abishai, son of Zeruiah, struck down 18,000 men on Edom in the valley of Salt. He appointed authorities in Edom, and all of Edom became subjects to Dawid. Yahweh called salvation for Dawid wherever he went. Dawid reigned over all of Yasharal. He administered justice and kindness to all his people. Joab, son of Zeruiah, was in command of the army. Jehoshaphat, son of Ahilud, was the secretary. Zadok, son of Ahitub, and Ahimelech, son of Abiathar, were Kohanim. Shapsha was the scribe. Benaiah, son of Jehoiada, was in charge of the archers and slingers, and Dawid's sons were chief ministers at the king's side. Chapter 19. Damn, shit up. It happened after this that Nahash, the king of the children of Ammon, died, and his son reigned in his place. Dawid thought, I shall do an act of kindness for Hanun, son of Nahash, for his father dealt kindly with me. So Dawid sent messengers to console him over his father. Dawid's servants went to the land of the children of Ammon to Hanun to console him. The ministers of the children of Ammon said to Hanun, do you think Dawid is honoring your father by sending consolers to you? Surely it is in order to explore, overthrow, and spy out the land that his servants have come to you. So Hanun took Dawid's servants and shaved them, and cut off half of their garments until their hips, and set them off. They went and sent word to Dawid about the men, and he sent messengers to meet them, for the men were deeply humiliated. The king said, stay in Jericho until your beards grow back, and then return. That makes me think of, though, like, most people, I don't know, something I noticed myself, like most people that really can't grow a beard like that, they be like, it's like they're the ones that don't really have, or they don't really come to the understanding, really. I don't know how true that is, but it's just something that I've noticed with people that I met. The children of Ammon realized that they had made themselves repugnant to Dawid. So Hanun and the children of Ammon sent out 1,000 talents of silver to hire chariots and horsemen from Aram Naharaim, Aram Ma'akah, and Zobah. They also hired 32,000 chariots, as well as the king of Ma'akah and his people. They went and encamped before Medeba. The children of Ammon gathered together from their cities and went there for battle. Dawid heard, and he dispatched Joab and all the mighty men of the army. The children of Ammon came out and deployed themselves for battle at the opening of the city, while the foreign kings who had come were in the field by themselves. Joab saw that the battlefield faced him from the front and from the rear, so he selected from all the chosen ones of Yasharal, and he deployed them against Aram. He placed the rest of the people, in the hand of his brother Abishai, and they deployed themselves against the children of Ammon. He said, if Aram will overpower me, then you will be my salvation, and if the children of Ammon overpower you, I will save you. Be strong and let us both be strong, for the sake of our people and for the sake of the cities of our Elohim, and Yahweh will do what is good in his eyes. Then Joab and the people who were with him approached to do battle against Aram, and they fled from him. When the children of Ammon saw that Aram had fled, they also fled from before Abishai, Joab's brother, entering into the city. Joab then returned to Jerusalem. Aram saw that they were beaten by Yasharal, so they sent messengers and brought over the Arameans from the other side of the Euphrates River, with Shophak, the commander of Hadadezer's army, leading them. This was told to Dawid, and he gathered together all the Yasharal and crossed over the Jordan. He came to them and deployed against them. Dawid deployed for battle against Aram, and they fought against him. Aram fled before Yasharal, and Dawid slew 7,000 charioteers and 40,000 foot soldiers. He also killed Shophak, the commander of the army. When the servants of Hadadezer saw that they were defeated by Yasharal, they surrendered to Dawid and became subservient to him. Aram was no longer willing to help the children of Ammon. chapter 20. It happened at the time of the turn of the year, at the time when kings go forth, that Joab led the battalions of the army. He destroyed the land of the children of Ammon. Then he came and besieged Rabbah, while Dawid was settled in Jerusalem. Joab smote Rabbah, and it laid it waste. Dawid removed their king's crown from his head. He found its weight to be a talent of gold, and in it was a precious stone, and it remained over Dawid's head. He also took out a great deal of booty from the city. He took out the people in it and cut them with saws. Dang, savage, bro. Cut them with saws, with iron threshing boards, and with axes. And this is what Dawid would do to all the cities of the children of Ammon. And Dawid and the whole nation returned to Jerusalem. It happened after this that a war with the Philistines ensued at Gezer. It was then that Sibbecai the Hushathite smote Sapphai, who was one of the children of the giants, and they were subdued. There was another war with the Philistines when Elhanan, son of Jair, smote Lami, the brother of Goliath, the Gittite, who had a spear with a shaft like a weaver's beam. There was another war in Gath. There was a man of huge dimensions, whose digits were 6 for each hand and foot, making 24. He too was born to the giant. He ridiculed Yasharal, and Jonathan, the son of David's brother, Shemaiah, struck him down. These were born to the giant in Gath, and they fell by the hand of Dawid and by the hand of his servants. 21. An adversary stood against Yasharal and enticed Dawid to take account of the people of Yasharal. So Dawid said to Joab and to the officers of the people, "Go and make a tally of the people, Yasharal, from Beersheba to Dan, and bring it to me so that I may know their number." But Joab said, "May Yahweh increase the number of his people 100 times over. Surely my Adonai, the king, or Adon, the king, they are all servants to my, I'll just say, it'd be Adon, right? To my Adon. Why should my Adon desire such a thing? Why should this be a source of guilt for Yasharal?" But the word of the king prevailed over Joab, so Joab went and traveled through Yasharal and returned to Jerusalem. Joab conveyed the sum of the tally of the people to Dawid. All of Yasharal numbered 1,100,000 men, drawers of the sword. And the men of Judah were 470,000 men, drawers of the sword. But Joab did not tally Levi and Benjamin among them, for the king's command was abhorrent to Joab. This matter was bad in Elohim's eyes, and he smote Yasharal. Dawid said to Elohim, "I have sinned greatly in having done this thing. Please remove the sin of your servant, for I have acted very foolishly." Yahweh spoke to Gad, David's seer, saying, "Go and speak to Dawid. Thus said Yahweh, I am offering you 3 things. Choose one of them, and I will do it to you." So Gad came to Dawid and said to him, "This is what Yahweh has said. Accept it upon yourself, whether 3 years of famine or 3 months during which you will be vanquished before your enemy's sword gaining the upper hand, or 3 days of the sword of Yahweh, a pestilence in the land, with an angel of Elohim bringing destruction throughout all the borders of Yasharal. Now consider what answer should I return to the one who has sent me." Dawid said to Gad, "I am exceedingly distressed. Let me fall into Yahweh's hand, for his mercies are abundant, but let me not fall into the hand of man." So Yahweh sent a pestilence in Yasharal, and 70,000 men of Yasharal fell. Elohim sent an angel to Jerusalem to destroy it. But as he was destroying, Yahweh saw and reconsidered the evil. He told the destroying angel, "Enough, now stay your hand." The angel of Yahweh was standing at the threshing floor of Ornan, the Jebusite. Dawid raised his eyes and saw the angel of Yahweh standing between the earth and heaven, with his sword drawn in his hand, stretched out over Jerusalem. And Dawid and the elders, who were covered in sackcloth, fell on their faces. Dawid said to Elohim, "Surely I have said to take count of the people. I am the one who has sinned and acted wickedly. But these flock, what have they done? Yahweh, my Elohim, let your hand be against me and my father's house, but against your people there shall not be a plague." The Malak Yahweh told Gad to say to Dawid that Dawid should go up and erect an altar to Yahweh in the threshing floor of Ornan the Jebusite. So Dawid went up as Gad had said, as Yahweh had commanded. Ornan had turned back and seen the Malak, and his 4 sons were with him, hiding. Ornan had been threshing wheat. Dawid approached Ornan. Ornan looked out and saw Dawid. He came out of the threshing floor and prostrated himself to Dawid with his face to the ground. Dawid said to Ornan, "Give me the site of the threshing floor, so that I may build an altar to Yahweh in it. Give it to me for the full price, so that the plague will cease from the people." But Ornan said to Dawid, "Take it for yourself, and let my Adon, the king, do whatever is proper in his eyes. See, I have given you the cattle for burnt offerings, the threshing tools for firewood, and the wheat for a meal offering. I have given everything." But King Dawid said to Ornan, "No, I shall buy it for the full price, for I shall not offer to Yahweh that which is yours, nor offer up a free burnt offering." So Dawid gave Ornan for the place gold shekels weighing 600. Dawid then built an altar there to Yahweh, and he offered burnt offerings and peace offerings. He called out to Yahweh, and he responded to him with fire from heaven upon the altar of burnt offering. Yahweh then said the command to the Malak, and he returned his sword to its sheath. At that time, when Dawid saw that Yahweh had answered him at the threshing floor of Ornan the Jebusite, he brought offerings there. The tabernacle of Yahweh, which Moshe made in the wilderness, and the altar of burnt offerings were at the high place of Gibeon at that time, but David could not go before it to seek Elohim, for he was terrified before the sword of the Malak of Yahweh. Dawid said, "This is the house of Yahweh Elohim, and this is the altar of burnt offerings for Yahshua." Dawid commanded to gather in the strangers who were in the land of Yahshua. He designated masons from among them to carve hewn stones from which to build the temple of Elohim. Dawid prepared an abundance of iron for nails for the doors of the gateways and for joints, an abundance of copper beyond weighing, and an abundance of cedar wood for the Zidonians and the Tyrians who had brought an abundance of cedar wood to Dawid. Dawid thought, Solomon, my son, is young and tender, and the temple that is to be built for Yahweh must be exceedingly grand, to be a source of fame and splendor throughout all the lands. So I will now prepare for him. So Dawid prepared a great deal before his death. He summoned his son Solomon and charged him to build a temple for Yahweh Elohim of Yasharal. Dawid said to Solomon, "My son, I had in mind to build a temple for the name of Yahweh, my Elohim. But the word of Yahweh came to me, saying, You have shed much blood, and you have made great wars. You shall not build a temple for my name's sake, for you have shed much blood upon the ground before me. Behold, a son will be born to you. He will be a man of rest, and I shall grant him rest from all his enemies all around. His name will be Solomon, and I will bestow peace and tranquility upon Yasharal in his days. He will build a temple for my name's sake. He will be a son to me, and I will be a father to him. And I will establish the throne of his kingdom over Yasharal forever." Now, my son, may Yahweh be with you. May you be successful and build the temple of Yahweh your Elohim, as he said about you. Only may Yahweh give you wisdom and understanding and give you command over Yasharal to keep the Torah of Yahweh your Elohim. Then you will succeed if you are careful to follow the statutes and ordinances which Yahweh commanded Moshe concerning Yasharal. Be strong and courageous. Do not fear and do not lose resolve. Now behold, despite my inadequacy, I have prepared for the temple of Yahweh 100,000 talents of gold, 1,000,000 talents of silver, and an amount of copper and iron, which is not weighed because of its abundance, and I prepared timber and stones. You should add to this. With you there will be an abundance of workmen, quarry workers, artisans of stone and wood, and people skilled at every manner of work. The gold, silver, copper, and iron is beyond calculation. Therefore arise and act, and may Yahweh be with you. Dawid commanded all the officers of Yasharal to help his son Solomon. Surely Yahweh your Elohim is with you. He will grant you rest all around you. For he has delivered the inhabitants of the land into my hand, and the land has been conquered before Yahweh, before his people. Now apply your heart and soul to seek Yahweh your Elohim. Get up and build the sanctuary of Yahweh Elohim, to bring the ark of the covenant of Yahweh and the sacred vessels of Elohim into the temple that will be built for the sake of Yahweh. 23. When Dawid was old and fulfilled of days, he made his son Solomon king over Yasharal. He gathered together all the officers of Yasharal, as well as the Kohanim and the Levites. The Levites were counted from age of 30 years and above, and their number by head, the count of their men, was 38,000. Of these, 24,000 were to oversee the work of the temple of Yahweh. 6,000 were marshals and judges, 4,000 were gatekeepers, and 4,000 gave praise to Yahweh with the instruments that I made for giving praise. Dawid divided them into divisions of Levites, according to the families of Gershon, Kohath, and Merari. Of the Gershonites, Laadan and Shammai, the sons of Laadan, the chief, Jehiel, and Zatham and Joel, altogether 3. The sons of Shammai, Shelomith, Haziel, and Haran, altogether 3. These were the family heads of Laadan. The sons of Shammai, Jahath, Zena, Jeush, and Bariah. These were the 4 sons of Shammai. Jahath was the chief, and Ziza the second. Jeush and Bariah did not have many sons, so they became a single family, occupying one position. The sons of Kohath, Amram, Izhar, Hebron, and Uziel, altogether 4. The sons of Aram, Aaron, and Moses. Aaron was set apart to sanctify him as Holy of Holies, he and his sons forever, to burn offerings before Yahweh, to minister before him, and to bless in his name forever. Concerning Moses, the man of Elohim, his son will be reckoned as the tribe of Levi. The sons of Moses, Gershom and Eleazar. Of the sons of Gershom, Shebuel, the chief. The sons of Eleazar, Rehabiah, the chief. Eleazar had no other sons, but the sons of Rehabiah proliferated greatly. Of the sons of Izhar, Shelomith, the chief. Of the sons of Hebron, Jeriah, the chief. Amariah, the second. Jahaziel, the third. And Jekameam, the fourth. Of the sons of Uziel, Micah, the first. And Ashiah, the second. The sons of Merari, Mali, and Mushi. The sons of Mali, Eleazar and Kish. Eleazar died having no sons but only daughters. The kinsmen, the sons of Kish, married them. Damn, they married their cousin, some shit. The sons of Mushi, Mali, Eder, and Jeremoth, altogether 3. These were the sons of Levi, according to the father's house. The heads of the father's families, according to their counts, by the number of names, by their head count, who did the work for the service of the temple of Yahweh, from the age of 20 years and above. For Dawid said, Yahweh Elohim of Yasharal has granted rest to his people, and he has come to dwell in Jerusalem forever. Thus the Levites need no longer carry the tabernacle and all the vessels for its service. For the counting of the sons of Levi took place according to the latter words of Dawid, from 20 years old and above. For their position was to stand at the side of the sons of Aaron for the service of the temple of Yahweh, to be in charge of the courts and the chambers, and the purifying of all the holy things, and the work of the service of the temple of Elohim. and of the bread of the stack, and of the fine flour for meal offerings, and for the unleavened cakes, and of the pan baked and scalded meal offerings, and for all matters of measures and sizes, and to stand every morning to give thanks and praise to Yahweh, and in the evening as well, and over all the burnt offerings that were offered to Yahweh on the Sabbaths, on the new moons, and on the festivals, according to the number ordained for them, continually before Yahweh. And they would also maintain the watch over the tent of meeting, and watch over the holy place, and the watch over their kinsmen, the sons of Aaron, in the service of the temple of Yahweh. 24. For the sons of Aaron, their divisions were the sons of Aaron, Nadab, Abihu, Eleazar, and Ithamar. Nadab and Abihu died in the presence of their father, and they had no children. But Eleazar and Ithamar became the Kohanim. Dawid, together with Zadok of the descendants of Eleazar, and Ahimelech of the descendants of Ithamar, divided them according to their assignments in their service. The chief men of the descendants of Eleazar were found to be more numerous than those of the descendants of Ithamar, and they were divided accordingly. 16 family heads for the sons of Eleazar, and 8 for the sons of Ithamar, according to their families. They divided their shifts by lots with one another for the officers of the sanctuary and officers of Elohim, were of the sons of Eleazar and of the sons of Ithamar. Shemaiah, son of Nethanel, the scribe, one of the Levites, recorded them before the king. And the officers and Zadok the Kohen and Ahimelech, son of Abiathar, and the heads of families of the Kohanim and Levites, one extra unit for each of Eleazar's, but one unit for Ithamar. The first lot fell upon Jehoiarib, the second upon Jediah, the third upon Harim, the fourth upon Seorim, the fifth upon Malchiah, and sixth upon Mijamin, the seventh upon Hakoz, the eighth upon Abijah, the ninth upon Jeshua, the 10th upon Shechaniah, the 11th upon Eliashib, the 12th upon Jakin, the 13th upon Hooper, the 14th upon Jeshabib, I guess, the 15th upon Bilgah, the 16th upon Immer, the 17th upon Hezir, the 18th upon Hapazez, the 19th upon Pethahiah, the 20th upon Jehezekel, the 21st upon Jakin, the 22nd upon Gamul, the 23rd upon Deliah, and the 24th upon Maaziah. These were the arrangements for their service to come to the temple of Yahweh, according to the order for them by Aaron their ancestor, as Yahweh Elohim and Yeshua commanded him. As for the remaining sons of Levi, of the sons of Amram, Shubael, of the sons of Shubael, Jedaiah, for Rehabiah, of the sons of Rehabiah, Ishiah the chief, of the Israelites, Shelemoth, of the sons of Shelemoth, Jahath, of the sons of Hebron, Jeriah, Amariah the second, Jahaziel the third, Jechamim the fourth, of the sons of Uziel, Micah, of the sons of Micah, Shamir. The brother of Micah was Ishiah, of the sons of Ishiah, Zechariah. The sons of Merari, Mali and Mushi. The sons of Jaaziah, Beno. The sons of Merari through Jaaziah, Beno, Shoham, Zakur, and Ibri of Mali. Eleazar had no sons. Eleazar had no son, who had no sons of Kish. The sons of Kish were Jeramiel. The sons of Mushi, Mali, Eder, and Jerimoth. These were the sons of the Levites, according to their fathers' houses. They also cast lots in conjunction conjunction. They also cast lots in conjunction with their kinsmen, the sons of Aaron, in the presence of King Dawid, Zadok, Ahimelech, and the heads of families of the Kohanim and Levites, and major families in conjunction with their lesser kinsmen. 25. Dawid and the officers of the service corps set aside the sons of Asaph, Heman and Jeduthun, who prophesied while using harps, lyres, and cymbals. Their number, in accordance with the number of workmen required for their service, was of the sons of Asaph, Sakor, Joseph, Nethaniah, and Asarela. The sons of Asaph under the auspices of Asaph, who prophesied by authority of the king. Of Jeduthun, the sons of Jeduthun, Gedaliah, Zeri, Jeshiah, Hashabiah, and Mattathiah, altogether 6, under the auspices of their father Jeduthun at the harp, prophesying while giving thanks and praise to Yahweh. Of Haman, the sons of Haman, Bukiah, Mattaniah, Uziel, Shebuel, Jeremoth, Hananiah, Hanani, Eliathah, Gedalti, Ramanti Ezer, Josh Bekasha, Josh Bekasha, Malathi, Hothir, and Mahaziov. All these were the sons of Haman, the king's seer, for the words of Elohim to exalt Dawid's prestige. Elohim gave to Haman 14 sons and 3 daughters. All these were under the auspices of their father for song in the temple of Yahweh, with cymbals, lyres, and harps for the service of the temple of Elohim, under the auspices of the king Asaph, Jeduthun, and Haman. Their number, along with their kinsmen who were trained in the singing of songs for Yahweh, all of them with skill, was 288. Hold up real quick. Verse 8. The shifts cast lots with one another, minor and major alike, teacher as well as student. The first fell out upon Asaph, upon Joseph. The second upon Gedaliah. He, his brothers and sons were 12. The third upon Zakor. His sons and brothers were 12. The fourth upon Israel. His sons and brothers were 12. The fifth upon Nethaniah. His sons and brothers were 12. The sixth upon Bukiah. His sons and brothers were 12. The seventh upon Jesarela. His sons and brothers were 12. The eighth upon Jeshiah. His sons and brothers were 12. The ninth upon Mattaniah. His sons and brothers were 12. The 10th upon Shammai. His sons and brothers were 12. The 11th upon Azarel. His sons and brothers were 12. The 12th upon Hashabiah. His sons and brothers were 12. The 13th upon Shebu. The 14th sons and brothers were 12. The 15th upon Jeremoth. His sons and brothers were 12. The 16th upon Hananiah. His sons and brothers were 12. The 17th upon Josh Bekasha. His sons and brothers were 12. The 18th upon Hanani. His sons and brothers were 12. The 19th upon Malathi. His sons and brothers were 12. The 20th upon Eliathah. His sons and brothers were 12. The 21st upon Hothir. His sons and brothers were 12. 22nd upon Gedalti. His sons and brothers were 12. The 23rd upon Mahazioth. His sons and brothers were 12. The 24th upon Ramamti Ezer. His sons and brothers were 12. 26. Concerning the divisions of the gatekeepers of the Korahites, Meshelemiah, the son of Korah, of the sons of Asaph. Meshelemiah had sons: Zechariah the firstborn, Jediel the second, Zebediah the third, Jothniel the fourth, Elam the fifth, Jehohanan, Jehohanan the sixth, and Elihionai the seventh. Obed-Edom had sons: Shemaiah the firstborn, Jehozabad the second, Joah the third, Sakar the fourth, Nethanel the fifth, Amiel the sixth, Issachar the seventh, and Peullathai the eighth. For Elohim blessed him. To Shemaiah his son were sons born who had dominion over their paternal family, for they were mighty warriors. The sons of Shemaiah, Othni, with Raphael, Obed, and Elzabad. His brothers were accomplished men, and Elihu and Samachiah. All these men of the sons of Obed-Edom, they and their sons and their brothers, accomplished men with strength for the service, were 62 for Obed-Edom. Meshelemiah had 18 sons and brothers who were men of might. Who is pulling up to my crib? What's I at? Hosea of the children of Merari also had sons. Shimri the chief, although he was not the firstborn, his father made him the chief. Hilkiah the second, Tebaliah the third, and Zechariah the fourth. All of Hosea's sons and brothers were 13. Among these were the divisions of the gatekeepers among the chief men, who made groups opposite their kinsmen, to minister in the temple of Yahweh. They cast lots, minor ones and major ones alike, by their paternal families, for every gate. The lot for the east fell upon Shelemiah. Then they cast lots for Zechariah his son, a wise counselor, and his lot came out for the north. To Obed-Edom the lot for the south, and to his sons the Asupim house. To Shupim and Hosea the lot for the west, by the Shalaketh gate, by the path of ascension, one watch opposite the other. There were 6 Levites at the east, 4 each day at the north, 4 each day at the south, and 2 each for the Asupim. At the Parbar to the west, 4 at the path, and 2 at the Parbar. These were the divisions of the gatekeepers among the sons of Korah and among the sons of Merari. Concerning the Levites, Ahijah was in charge of the treasury of the temple of Elohim, and in charge of the treasury of the consecrated things. The sons of Ladan, the sons of the Gershonites by Ladan. Family heads of Ladan were the Gershonite of the Gershonite Jehieli, the sons of Jehieli, Zetham and his brother Joel, who were in charge of the treasury of the temple of Elohim. Of the Amramite, the Izharite, the Hebronite, the Uzielite. Shebuel, son of Gershom, son of Moshe, was chairman of the treasury. His kinsman by Eleazar. Rehabiah his son, Jeshiah his son, Joram his son, Zikri his son, and Shalomith his son. He, Shalomoth, and his kinsmen were in charge of all the treasuries of the consecrated items with which King Dawid, the heads of families, The captains over thousands and hundreds, and the captains of the army had consecrated. They consecrated from the wars and the spoils to maintain the temple of Yahweh. Also, all that Samuel the seer, Saul son of Kish, Abner son of Ner, and Joab son of Zeruiah had consecrated. Whoever had consecrated was under the hand of Shelomith and of his kinsmen. Of the Israelite, Chenaniah and his sons were in charge of the outside labor of Yasharol as officers and judges. Of the Hebronite, Hashabiah and his kinsmen, 1,700 men of might, were in charge of Yasharol on the western side of the Jordan for all the labor of Yahweh and for the service of the king. Of the Hebronite, Jarijah, the chief over the Hebronite, according to their generations by their families. In the 40th year of the reign of Dawid, they were sought. Among them were found mighty warriors at Jazer of Gilead, his kinsmen, men of might, number 2,700 heads of families. And King Dawid appointed them over the Reubenite, the Gadite, and the half-tribe of the Manassites, for all the matters of Elohim and the matters of the king. 27. As for the children of Yasharol, by their number, the heads of families, the captains of thousands and hundreds, and their marshals who served the king in all the matters of the divisions, who entered service and left month by month throughout all the months of the year, each division consisting of 24,000 men. Jeshobeam, son of Zabdiel, was in charge of the first division for the first month, and in his division was 24,000 men, being from the descendants of Perez. He was the chief of all the officers of the force of the first month. Dodai the Ahahite and his division, and Mikloth the leader, were in charge of the division of the second month, and in his division was 24,000 men. The third officer of the force for the third month was Benaiah, son of Jehoiada, the Kohen, who was the chief, and in his division was 24,000 men. This is the same Benaiah who was the mighty man among the 30, and who was over the 30. His son Amizabad was in his division. The fourth chief for the fourth month was Asahel, the brother of Joab, with Zebediah his son after him, and in his division was 24,000 men. The fifth for the fifth month was the officer Shamhuth, the Israelite, and in his division was 24,000 men. The sixth for the sixth month was Ira, son of Ikesh, the Tekoite, and in his division was 24,000 men. The seventh for the seventh month was Helez, the Pelonite, of the children of Ephraim, and in his division was 24,000 men. The eighth for the eighth month was Sibbecai, the Hushathite, of the Zerahite, and in his division was 24,000 men. The ninth for the ninth month was Abiezer, the Anathothite, of the Benjamite, and in his division was 24,000 men. The 10th for the 10th month was Marai, the Netophathite, of the Zerahite, and in his division was 24,000 men. The 11th for the 11th month was Benaiah, the Pirathonite, of the children of Ephraim, and in his division was 24,000 men. The 12th for the 12th month was Heldai, the Netophathite, of Othniel's descendants, and in his division was 24,000 men. 24,000, 40,000. It was like 328,000 total, if I did my math right. Yeah, 328,000. In charge of the tribes of Yasharal, the ruler of the Reubenite was Eleazar, son of Zikri, of the Simeonite, Shephatiah, son of Maacah, of Levi, Hashabiah, son of Kemuel, of Aaron's descendants, Zadok, of Judah, Elihu, one of Dawid's kinsmen, of Issachar, Omri, son of Michael, of Zebulun, Ishmael, son of Obadiah, of Naphtali, Jerimoth, son of Azriel, of the children of Ephraim, Hoshea, son of Azaziah, of the half-tribe of Manasseh, Joel, son of Padiah, of the half-tribe of Manasseh and Gilead, Edo, son of Zechariah, of Benjamin,
Jaasiel, son of Abner, of Dan, Azarel, son of Jeroham. These are the leaders of the tribes of Yasharal. But Dawid did not count tally of those from 20 years of age and below, because Yahweh had said he would increase Yasharal like the stars of the heavens. Joab, son of Zeruiah, once began to count them, but he did not finish, because Elohim's wrath came upon Yasharal for this, and the number was not entered among the numbers in King David's Chronicles. In charge of the king's treasuries was Asmaveth, son of Adiel, in charge of the storehouses in the fields. In the cities and in the villages and in the towers was Jehonathan, the son of Uzziah. In charge of those who did labor in the field, working the ground was Ezri, son of Chalud. In charge of the vineyards was Shammai, the Ramathite. In charge of that which was in the vineyards for the wine storehouses was Abdi, the Shiphmite. In charge of the olive trees and the sycamore trees that were in the lowlands was Baal Hanan, the Gederite. In charge of the storehouses of oil was Joash. In charge of the cattle that grazed in Sharon was Shitrai, the Sharonite. In charge of the cattle that were in the valleys was Shaphat, son of Adlai. In charge of the camels was Obil, the Ishmaelite. And in charge of the she-donkeys was Jedaiah, the Meronothite. In charge of the flocks, Jaziz, the Hagrite. All these were the managers of King Dawid's property. Dawid's uncle Jonathan was an advisor. He was a wise man and a scribe. Jehiel, son of Hakmoni, was with the king's sons. Ahithophel was an advisor to the king. Hushai the Archite was the king's companion. Succeeding Ahithophel was Jehoiada, son of Benaniah, and Abiathar, the king's commander of the army, was Joab. I'm doing multitasking. 28. Dawid assembled to Jerusalem all the leaders of Yasharal, the leaders of the tribes, the leaders of the divisions that served the king, the leaders of the thousands and the leaders of the hundreds, and the officers in charge of all the possessions and livestock of the king and his sons, along with the officers, the mighty men and the men of valor. King Dawid stood up on his feet and said, "Hear me, my brothers and my people. I had in my heart to build a house of rest for the ark of the covenant of Yahweh, as a footstool for Elohim, and I prepared to build. But Elohim said to me, You shall not build a temple for my name, because you are a man of wars and have shed blood. Yahweh Elohim of Yasharal chose me from all my father's family to be king over Yasharal forever. For he chose Judah to be the ruler, and of the house of Judah he chose my father's house, and of the sons of my father it was me that he saw fit to make king over all Yasharal. And from all my sons, for many sons have Yahweh given me, he has chosen Solomon my son to sit upon the throne of the kingdom of Yahweh over Yasharal. He said to me, Your son Solomon, he shall build my temple and my courtyards, for I have chosen him to be a son for me, and I will be a father for him, and I will establish his kingdom forever, if he will be firm in fulfilling my commandments and my laws, as on this day." See, I try to use those verses of people with that damn Luke lineage and shit. They try to get past the Matthew lineage because it's missing like 4 kings, and it has Jeconiah in there, and I don't know any of Jeconiah's sons that were sitting on David's throne as king. So they it's lineage through Mary, but it's supposed to be through the father. But that lineage is through Nathan, not Solomon. And last I checked, Nathan never got. I don't know if he had any kids for one. And but regardless, I never seen the Most High speak to him or promise him anything. So I mean, and it's and so basically it's saying Solomon's seed mixed with Nathan's seed, the two brothers' seeds met and procreated and shit. So I don't know, man. They go hard for the demigod Baphomet with the damn paps. Niggas laying on their fucking chest and shit. Anyway, I don't even want to talk about that. 28 verse 8. So now in the sight of all Yasharal, the congregation of Yahweh, and in the audience of our Elohim, observe and seek out all the commandments of Yahweh, your Elohim, so that you may possess the good land and bequeath it to your children after you forever. And you, my son Solomon, know the Elohim of your father and serve him with a perfect heart and with a willing soul. For Yahweh searches all hearts and discerns every product of one's thoughts. If you seek him, he will let himself be found by you. But if you forsake him, he will abandon you forever. See now that Yahweh has chosen you to erect a building for the holiness. Be strong and act. David then gave to his son Solomon the plans for the hall and its structures, storage rooms, upper chambers, and inner rooms, and for the chamber of the ark cover, and the plans that for all he had with him by divine inspiration, for the courtyards of the temple of Yahweh, and for all the chambers all around, for the storage rooms of the temple of Elohim, and for the treasuries of the consecrated items, as well as the plan for the divisions of the Kohanim and the Levites, and for all the work of the service of the temple of Yahweh, and for all the vessels for the service of the temple of Yahweh. Gold was by the weight of gold, for all the vessels of each kind of service, for all the silver vessels by weight, for all the vessels of each kind of service. The weight of gold for the golden candelabra, and the golden lamps was according to the weight of every candelabrum and its lamps, and so for the silver candelabra, according to the weight for each candelabrum and its lamps, according to the function of each of the candelabra. And gold by the weight for the tables of the stacks for each table, and likewise silver for the silver tables, and pure gold for the forks, the bowls, and the tubes, and for the golden basins according to the weight of each basin, and silver for the silver basins according to the weight of each basin, and refined gold for the altar of incense by weight, and for the image of the chariot, the golden cherubim that spread out their wings, and covered the ark of the covenant of Yahweh. Everything is in writing by the hand of Yahweh, which he gave me understanding to know all the works of the plan. David then said to his son Solomon, be strong and courageous and act. Do not be afraid and do not be dismayed, for Yahweh Elohim, my Elohim, is with you. He will not release you nor will he forsake you until the completion of all the labor of the work of the temple Yahweh. Behold, here are the divisions of the Kohanim and the Levites for all the service of the temple of Elohim. Assisting you in all the labor will be all those generous with their wisdom for all the work, the officers and all the people at your every word. Get a sip real quick.
Damn, leg. You slid off. You only had one chapter left. It's all good. I know you probably know all this shit by heart. And catch up mode. All right, 29, yo. Well, ain't nobody in here, but whoever's gonna hear it. King Dawid said to the entire congregation, Solomon, my son, is but lone. Elohim has chosen him, although he is young and tender, and the work is great. For this palace is not for a man, but for Yahweh, Elohim. With all my might, I have prepared for the temple of my Elohim. Gold for golden things, silver for silver things, copper for copper things, iron for iron things, and wood for wooden things, as well as shoham stones, stones for setting, emeralds, tapestries, and all kinds of precious stones and marble stones in abundance. Furthermore, because of my desire for the temple of my Elohim, I have treasures of gold and silver that I have given for the temple of my Elohim, beyond all that I have prepared for the sacred house. 3,000 talents of gold of Ophir gold, and 7,000 talents of refined silver, with which to overlay the walls of the buildings. There is gold for golden things and silver for silver things, for all work done by artisans. Now who volunteers to consecrate himself for Yahweh today? Then the leaders of the fathers' houses, the leaders of the tribes of Yasharal, the leaders of thousands and of hundreds, and the officers of the king's property offered donations, giving for the work of the temple of Elohim 5,000 talents and 10,000 darkons of gold, 10,000 talents of silver, 18,000 talents of copper, and 100,000 talents of iron. Whoever had precious stones gave of them to the treasury of the temple of Yahweh, under the auspices of Jehiel the Gershonite. The people rejoiced in their donations, for they donated wholeheartedly to Yahweh. King Dawid also rejoiced with great gladness. And Dawid blessed Yahweh in the presence of the entire congregation. Dawid said, Blessed are you, Yahweh, Elohim of Yasharal, our forefather, from this world to the world to come. Yours, Yahweh, is the greatness, the strength, the splendor, the triumph, and the glory, even everything in heaven and earth. Yours, Yahweh, is the kingdom, and the sovereignty over every leader. Wealth and honor come from you, and you rule everything. In your hand is power and strength, and it is in your hand to make anyone great or strong. So now, our Elohim, we thank you and praise your splendorous name. For who am I and what is my people that we should muster the strength to donate in this manner? For everything is from you, and from your hand have we given to you. For we are like sojourners before you, and like temporary residents, as were all our forefathers. Our days on earth are like a shadow, and we have prepared, and there is no hope to escape death. Yahweh our Elohim, all this vast amount that we have prepared to build you a temple for your holy name is from your own hand, for everything is yours. I know also, my Elohim, that you examine the heart and desire integrity. I have offered all these donations in the uprightness of my heart, and now I see your people who are presented here to offer donations to you with gladness. Yahweh Elohim of our forefathers Abraham, Isaac, and Israel, Yasharal, preserve this forever to be the product of the thoughts of the hearts of your people, and set their hearts towards you. Also grant to Solomon my son a perfect heart, to keep your commandments, your testimonies, and your statutes, to carry out everything, and to build the palace for which I have prepared. Dawid then said to the entire congregation, Now bless Yahweh our Elohim. And all the congregation blessed Yahweh, the Elohim of their forefathers. And they bowed down and prostrated themselves to Yahweh and to the king. They slaughtered feast offerings to Yahweh and offered burnt offerings to Yahweh on the next day, 1,000 bulls, 1,000 rams, and 1,000 sheep, with their libations, an abundance of feast offerings for all Yasharal. They ate and drank before Yahweh on that day with great gladness. They crowned Solomon, son of Dawid, a second time as king a second time, and anointed him to Yahweh to be the ruler, and Zadok to be the Kohen.
Dang, I ain't never read so much in my life, at least not out loud. I used to talking this damn much. But it's all for a good cause. At least it's not my words. All right, verse 23. Solomon sat upon the throne of Yahweh as king in palace of his father David, and he was successful. All the Yasharal obeyed him. All the officers and the mighty men, as well as all King David's sons, gave their support to King Solomon. Yahweh greatly exalted Solomon in the eyes of all the Yasharal, and he bestowed upon him royal majesty such as had not been upon any king before him in Yasharal. Thus David, son of Jesse, reigned over all Yasharal. That's the time that he reigned over Yasharal was 40 years. In Hebron he reigned for 7 years, and in Jerusalem he reigned for 33 years. He died in a good old age, sated with years, wealth, and honor, and Solomon his son reigned in his place. The earlier and later events of King David, behold, they are written in the records of Samuel the seer, and the records of Nathan the prophet, and the records of Gad the seer, with details of all his kingdom and his might, and the events that transpired with him and with Yasharal, and with all the kingdoms of the lands. And that concludes the reading. We're going to pick it up again at 6 p.m. Shalom.